Hi, welcome to today's analysis. Chelsea's striking target, Victor Osimhen, Delap and Benjamin Sesko compared. The Blues re-emerged into top four after thrashing Tottenham Hotspur one unanswered. Sit up, brace as we get into proceedings. Let me start by acknowledging stunning performance from the Blues, thrashing Tottenham Hotspur one unanswered, making it 4 wins on a row against Tottenham Hotspur against a single man in Postecoglou since his appointment. I think it's the first time in the history of Tottenham Hotspur where a newly appointed coach losing first 4 matches against the Blues without a retaliation. It was a game in which the Blues pulled off spectacular performance, created all the chances necessarily in the first half, but limiting Tottenham Hotspur to not even a single chance that could have resulted in a goal. Yet, the Blues could not bury a single one of them. It took them until the early stages of the second half where Enzo Fernandez connected a cross from the left through Cole Palmer, making it 1-0, which apparently ended the game. With returning and tight legs in the front line of the Blues attack, they could not hold on to the intensity they began the match with in the first half into second, causing Enzo Maresca to make defensive changes, bringing Reece James and Torsen into the match, going defensive, sitting deep, which apparently resulted into a precarious end of the match. Fans could not hold on to the proceedings and it was so much of nerves. But what a deserving performance and a win for the Blues, getting themselves into Champions League places in the league. Tottenham Hotspur had a chance to equalize, but only after Papi Sarr fouling Moses Caicedo, which resulted Papa Postecoglou into lots of talk after the match. And I think even as I'm doing my recording, he's still talking. He thinks the loss of time that officials take into reviewing some of the instances on the pitch is actually taking the spectacle of the game out, but not realizing if he was not given a goal that Papi Sarr scored after a foul by VAR's intervention, it is equally the same technology that nullified Chelsea's goal, which was scored by Moises Caicedo. So it's what it is. He's got to understand and move on. Now, comparing Chelsea's striking targets, apparently the stats gives clear indication that Victor Osimhen has the best of numbers, has the longevity, and has played at highest level and has had the experience. But previous dynamics in the summer window tells that Chelsea are definitely not going for Victor Osimhen. Not for the sake of his performances or any reason, but on financial point of view. I think that is never going to happen. Now, it takes us into doing a vivid and a precise comparison between Delap and Benjamin Sesko. You can argue from the point of the two having similar characteristics, but apparently in some small details, the two can be drawn apart. One key area you can draw a line of difference between the two is their total shots, which is very key for the Blues. As we can recall from previous interview with Enzo Maresca, he revealed how he's been urging Sancho to be taking shots. But you can argue from the point that Delap has not got the best of opportunities to be shooting quite often, simply because he's playing with a relegation threatened and a newly promoted Ipswich, which apparently doesn't save him lots of chances with which he can be equaling these statistics with Benjamin Sesko. In the Premier League, one very key stat you should always highlight and expect from an attacker is off-the-ball contribution, which even with the younger age of Sesko, you're finding him amongst the numbers outweighing those of Delap, talking about tackles, interceptions, and blocks, which are very important, but questions are left to be answered if that from Sesko can be emulated in the Premier League owing to its physical and competitive nature. In summary and in my opinion, I think Benjamin Sesko has very similar stats compared to Delap, but he's apparently a few miles ahead of Delap. But people can always argue from their point that though Delap has got lower ebb of numbers, but he has amassed them from the most difficult and physical league in the Premier League. You can also argue from the fact that even with these numbers Sesko has amassed, he's done it with a lesser age compared to Delap. And so he apparently has a very high ceiling. What do you think of this, Blue fans? Which of the two would have been your choice? Should you be a technical director for the Blues? The final story of the day takes us to possible destinations Nico Williams stands chance of finding himself in the coming summer window and for next season. At this point, it looks like Arsenal seems to be the most serious among all clubs. But in recent reports, we have been told that for Arsenal to finalize this move for Williams from Athletic Club to Arsenal, they should be ready and prepared to agree to the £250,000 a week wages that will be demanded by Williams, which I have doubt. But apparently, Nico Williams is a big fish who, if should be among top earners at Arsenal, isn't off the bar. But what do you think? What is your opinion to this story? Please let me know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Please be part of the growth of this community. It's much appreciated and I can't thank you enough.